Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you guys so much for joining. Well, happy 12/12 wherever you are, all over the world. And when I was in morning meditation, I was actually thinking about how we have these little dates that we look at, repeating numbers like 11/11, 12/12. And I was really noticing how it's really sort of like a unifying point, a little unifying point, because no matter where you are in the world, it's 12/12, where here in a week, or actually 9 days, when it's 12/21 or 21/12, depending on where you are in the world, the numbers are sort of mirrored. And I was like kind of thinking about this all is one, we're all one, and then the individual journey that we all have, and then the collective journey, what's mirrored back to us. And that's what those two numbers, 12/12, today's date, and 12/21 or 21/12, depending where you are. This date everybody's looking forward to for the winter solstice, 2020. And while I'm all pondering all of this, our individual path and the collective path, I come across Magenta Pixie's video, which I thought was great. I'll link it below, but it was sort of talking about what was shown to me in these numbers and sort of making that choice. There's so many of us that aren't really confused about why we're here. We know that we're here to be of service to others and to shine the light and to broadcast it. And it was even shown to me how when we can keep our vibrations really high, it's like we're these step-down transformers for this Christ-conscious energy flowing in. And so when I was watching her video this morning, it was her information was sort of confirming what I'd felt about these dates and everything. Actually, I'm going to have another channel. I wanted to tell you guys about Vannessa VA if you're not familiar with her, because hopefully she can come on next Friday night during the love stream, because I want to discuss some of her research, and I want to give you guys time to binge watch her videos about the singularity, the Christ consciousness singularity, opposed to the sort of this world singularity. Or there's so many ways you can look at it. But it's, do we want to merge with machine? Or this really gets back to that whole message that came through with the Wingmakers material, that there was, the transhumanist route, or we can evolve like through natural spiritual means. And so really it's that same topic that was covered so long ago. And now we've got these really cool effects coming through, retrocausal effects. So I really can't wait to get Vannessa in here to discuss all of her research and getting these messages. And really, these messages come from anywhere, and you can almost sound crazy at times, because if you really pay attention, I got a message that led me to doing this particular video I'm doing right now, and it could have could have missed it, because I think we're sort of given messages all the time, but maybe they're subtle at first, and then as we pay attention and we notice more, and we'll notice more, then they become synchronicities to earlier messages we got, like, oh, hey, that number is repeating, and why have I been seeing this number, but maybe we could have picked up on it a little bit earlier. So one of those instances is the last 3 mornings. So I knew I was going to be doing more vlog videos, and I wanted to get some pretty nature videos. So at the lake, I was recording the sunrise 2 mornings ago, and then yesterday morning, I get out about an hour before sunrise to get the tripod out to start setting up, and I look up and I see the moon and these clouds move in front of it, and I think, oh boy, are we going to have a cloudy morning? Am I going to get the sunrise? So I went ahead and set up for it anyway, went ahead and recorded it, and it was cloudy. The sun never did poke out, but I had already set up for it, so I recorded it. I felt like I should for some reason, so I just had it recording while I was sort of meditating. And then I come out this morning, and once again, about an hour before sunrise, and I look up at the sky, and I'm looking at the moon, and I'm like, awesome, there's the moon, and then clouds go in front of it, same as yesterday, right? And I'm like, that's pretty synchronistic. I mean, I don't know. I guess there was a time in my life I would have thought maybe it was weird, or maybe even not noticed, but today, when the clouds immediately went in front of it, I thought, wow, what's going on? So then I was taken back to reviewing the footage, because sometimes what I'll do is I might record a sunrise over a 30-minute period or something, but then if I go back to use it, I might speed it up and make it more of a time-lapse sort of recording where you see the sun rising really fast, right? So a lot of times I'll review the footage like that. Well, I pulled out the cloudy footage, and I knew about when the sun was supposed to rise, and I was sort of scrubbing through the video, and you just couldn't see the sunrise. I mean, I looked at the very moment that the sun rose above the clouds, and there was nothing to indicate anything about it, and I was taken back to when I was looking at that footage and thinking about that. So I'm thinking about this footage side by side and really thinking about the perspective of both of these sunrises that were pretty much exactly the same except for clouds in the way. And in the moment, it just hit me like, the sun rose as it should have. There was so much going on despite the clouds being in the way. And as I'm thinking about that, I go and I look at where the sun should be rising this morning, and right at the horizon, clear sky, and I can see the morning sun shining through for about a minute or two. And that was all I saw this morning. And it was almost like the sun winked at me, like, you got the message received. And this ties into what Vannessa and I will talk about next Friday, about really tapping into the Christ consciousness. And, that's been a big thing for me, is really trying to get to this point of peace and bliss that is really beyond words. And Vannessa's talked about it, so we'll talk about that. But also realizing that, a lot of times you'll hear people talk about this and you think, oh, well, how are they living in bliss 24/7? And it's not like that at all. It's like you get a little sip of it. Well, at least for me, you get a little sip of it every now and then. But what's more important than that is this sort of baseline peace that emerges in your life. So you only get to sip the bliss every now and then. But this peace that surpasses all understanding that I believe the Bible talked about will emerge in your life. And that is a constant. That doesn't get interrupted. It might get slightly disturbed at times as we go through things because we're in the world, but not of it, so to speak. So much coming through, and this was huge for me because it was showing me how two sunrises that were pretty much identical, one blocked by clouds, those clouds are the distractions, all of the distractions, the thoughts, the lower thoughts. And if you think of how much higher the sun is than the clouds are very low. You can rise above those clouds and still see the sun rise at some point if you can rise above it. So every morning the sun's available to us, despite those clouds, because those clouds are just distractions, and we can rise above it. And that was the wonderful little message I got just from seeing the clouds cover the moon. It's so weird, just how much can come to you when you're really in the moment and paying attention. And then, how much do we get involved? Because I know this is an individual journey for everyone, and that's why I feel like everyone should definitely go within and follow their heart, because maybe you have a desire to write a book, but somebody else has a desire to start a petition, or, maybe go and hold a sign up on a corner somewhere, or whatever it is. So I really feel like it's an important time that we go within and we follow our heart, and we're really motivated from the heart space and not out of fear, because I think it really is a balance between realizing when we are really led by love and when we're led out of fear disguised as love. And so I think going in with your heart and really tapping into that core heart desire, where are you feeling led to? And I think sometimes that, maybe we'll get pulled back to take a little break a little bit, to kind of shift from reactionary to taking a pause and a break and disconnecting and releasing, to moving into more of an action-based. Because, long ago it was shown to me how fear is used to control everyone, and to really be an outlier to any system is to not respond to the main tactic of that system, which is fear. So the more we can move away from fear, the more we're not controlled by the system, even subconsciously. So moving out of fear, and how much do we get involved? And well, for me in particular, I was shown this this little image, like Because sometimes we can feel like, if we're the weakest link, the whole thing might come crashing down because we didn't do our part. And to set your mind at ease, or to set my mind at ease, it was this little picture of being on a park bench and having this little flock of birds on the ground, and then I'm throwing bread down, seeds or whatever. But I noticed one of the birds is sort of gimpy, and he never gets any food because he's slower than the other ones. Now, that bird will find its food, whether I'm there or not. But while I'm there and I'm feeding the little flock, I can be clever. I can throw seeds one direction to get all the fast birds to move over away from the slower bird, and then throw some seeds right by the slower bird to give it time to eat them before the other birds get back. And this was a little analogy shown in my head. Whether I'm there on that park bench or not, the birds are going to eat. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. But while I'm there, I can observe what's going on, and I can help nudge things in a positive direction. So that's what I was shown about myself and what I'm here to do. And it's just sort of just to push things in that positive, love-based direction. But you might get a completely different message about how you might express your love best or whatever. So that's why I always think people should go within. But whatever is your main desire from your heart, definitely go with that. Coming on next week with Vannessa, I'm going to put her links below so you can go check out her series about the Christ consciousness and the singularity. And then we'll have a really fun discussion next Friday night about that. And if you guys have any questions, you can join in the chat. Until next time, lots of love, light, and unity. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.